Hey everybody, Chris Englebert with Englebert Financial Advisers in Allentown, Pennsylvania with the weekly Rotella QCast update. You can see by my title, I'm going to be talking about what exactly a registered investment advisor does all day. Now, registered investment advisor is the acronym RIA. So if you hear somebody say, hey, are you an RIA firm? That means registered investment advisor. Now, you got to understand that we advise individuals on their investments and their portfolios. But the biggest difference is that we are considered a fiduciary on your account. So that means if you have a $100,000, $1 million, or a $10 million portfolio, we have to advise you on what's the right thing for you to be doing with your money. We do not charge commissions. We work under a fee system, which I'll talk about more in a moment at the end of the video. But you have to understand that an RIA firm is a living, breathing organism. We have approximately 300 clients, and we help them focus on not only investment strategies, but what's going on in their life. I always tell clients the best thing that they can do before they make any big financial decision is call their RIA, registered investment advisor, and also call their CPA, because we'll talk to you a lot of times about some things that you should do, how you take money out of an IRA, whether or not you should roll over your 401k after you leave a job. What do you do if you just received an inheritance? What are the tax ramifications as far as a lump sum distribution? So that's what we really do all day. And I'm going to break down the players in this. And the first one that's up is Tyler Giovarelli. He's our client relationship manager. So Tyler is literally on the front lines. Now you have to understand that we are constantly getting new clients at our practice. And so one of the things that Tyler does is onboarding new clients. So for example, if a family becomes a client, the mom and dad may each have an IRA that they're going to roll over. They may have a joint account. They may have some custodial accounts for the kids. And so what Tyler does after the paperwork is filled out, he makes sure that that paperwork is correctly submitted to TD Ameritrade. That happens to be our custodian, but most RIAs use obviously Fidelity, Schwab, TD Ameritrade. But he makes sure that the accounts are set up. He makes sure that everything, as far as all the information, is correct, and he makes sure that everything is available to be logged in at some point when the client goes online. So a lot of times there are also clients calling in for money. They would like a check, they'd like a distribution, they want to add funds to their account. Tyler's on the front line for that, and what he does is he makes sure that the money gets put into the right account. He monitors if you call up to have money sent out of your account, that the money is actually sent out on a timely basis. So Tyler's literally on the front line. I always tell people that if you have any questions about your account, he's the person to answer those questions, because he's literally on the front line every day, working with the accounts, opening them, transferring assets, sending out money, receiving checks, etc. It's a very detailed oriented business, and he's very good at his account. So Jamie Englebert is our principal of our RIA firm, and she is a big picture person from the standpoint, she's responsible for the daily operations. She pays the bills for the firm. She manages the calendars overall as far as what we're doing. She also manages the team, which means she manages me as well. But what Jamie does is she's kind of the quarterback for the entire firm, because you got to remember, there are two types of businesses when you have an RIA firm. There's the business of actually running the RIA firm, and then there's the business of investing people's money. And so what Jamie's purpose is she's running our registered investment advisory firm. She works with all of our vendors as well. We have a performance reporting vendor, we have a billing vendor, we have a compliance vendor as well. Jamie's responsible for making sure that all the documentation that goes out or that we have available to onboard a client is submitted properly. And she also helps to dot the I's and cross the T's and work very closely with Tyler to make sure that when an account is set up or account is, funds are being sent out, that it's done properly. Jamie also works on a large projects. We have a very good 401k, 457 business. She's at the front line of getting those businesses set up. So if, for example, we get a new company that wants to have us handle their 401k, there's a lot of onboarding that has to be done behind the scenes to get that up and running with the various custodians that happen to handle our 401k or 457 business. So now you may ask, what do I do? Well, Chris Englebert here, obviously founding partner and chief investment officer. What I do is I talk with clients literally on a daily basis. I'll have a conversation between 3 and 5 clients every day, talking about what the markets are doing, what their investment strategy is, are they positioned in the right investment strategy as far as what we think is going to happen with the markets? Now, I do a lot of due diligence calls. So for example, the other day, I had 3 back-to-back due diligence calls. What I really enjoy about my due diligence calls that I do, I talk to a lot of, quote, product vendors. So for example, exchange traded funds. There may be a new ETF out there, and I want to understand how the exchange traded fund works, whether it's in fixed income or equities, and whether or not I want to use that for one of our model portfolios or one of our clients' accounts. I actually had a really good macro level call yesterday with a very large investment firm. They run over $18 billion, and they were giving me their view on what's happening in 2022 with regards to interest rates, inflation, and the stock market. So basically what I do is I take this information, and we talk to many very good firms throughout the week and throughout the month with many different viewpoints as far as on the bond market, commodities, and the stock market. And I distill that down and try to have our clients understand what we think is going on out there in the markets. Now, one of the things that we do is I also do a lot of client meetings. Tyler helps me prepare for these client meetings. We show an investment report, and we show exactly how your account is done. Here's how much money you started with. Here's how much money it's made or lost. What's going on with the account? Is the strategy right for you? Should we be changing the strategy? So these are some of the things that we do literally on a daily basis. And then the other thing I do is I produce a lot of content for social media, trying to get our thoughts across to clients as far as about the markets, but also about strategy and some things we should think that they should be looking forward to and looking out for as well. So that's the life of a registered investment advisor. You can see it's a living, breathing organism. It's a business just like any other business. We have many moving parts in our business. We think what we do very well is we're very detailed oriented, and we also make sure that things get done. Sometimes you can't say that as far as other businesses go. But we also think that we're able to communicate very effectively with you guys as far as strategy, outlook, and what's going on. We're not always going to be right, but we have a lot of experience doing this. And this is something that registered investment advisors literally do on a daily basis. So again, I'd like to thank the QCast crew for putting this presentation together with me, and we'll be back next week.